There we go. Jump.
Nice jump. Yeah.
A little jump action. Do you believe me? Is it like a realistic? You know, kind of like my. Is that like more realistic? So,
I don't know. I think to be realistic, you'd have to be in the background.
but then I don't know how to actually jump. But the goal is to not actually jump and make it look like I'm jumping.
Oh, then no.
Yeah. Oh shit. Whatever you jump, do you put your arms into it? Do you like, or do you just like
No, I squat.
you squat? But yeah, but what are your arms doing? What do you?
Maybe just like getting in power up position. Yeah.
You're like squatting, all like.
Wait, yeah, the best
Ready to jump.
best fake jump. 3, 2, 1. Ho!
Oh well, that's not.
Yeah.
You just moved the camera. I can't
Yeah.
do that as easy. I guess.
You could do it though.
Okay.
What if we synchronize camera movement?
I don't think we can do that with the Discord. It's gonna look off.
Let's try. Let's see how
Okay.
bad Discord.
Ready?
This is a test. Discord
Ready?
on your count.
3, 2, 1. There we go.
Not
We
bad.
jumped.
Synchronized pseudo jumping. We love to see it,
Speaking of jumping, you ready to jump into this episode
dude. I'm all jumps in.
of the world-renowned classic series hosted here on Majority by Majority and Majora me. I'm not Majority, but I'm Alex from Turbo Zone. We are here today to do an episode of Turbo Throwdown.
Turbo Throwdown.
Yeah, gotta get the voice crack in there.
Discord doesn't pick up your voice crack.
Oh, I didn't pick up my voice crack.
It stops
Damn.
you because it peaks.
I need to send you a good one over like off of like a recording or something of my voice crack.
Well, next time that we have a throwdown, I can reuse the MP3 file you sent me. So I'm looking forward to that.
There
Wow.
you go. Throw down.
Turbo Throwdown. The Limp Biscuit.
We'll throw down.
Turbo's gonna throw down.
Keep throwing.
Throw
Welcome
it.
to the episode of Turbo Throwdown featuring Fred Durst, our favorite.
Classic metalhead.
It's been a talking point lately, Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staple in our community. Well,
Staples.
speaking of community, do you want to be part of the community? Then subscribe. You don't want to miss out. This is the Turbo Throwdown community where we throw down classic Sega Genesis games, at least this season. The theme is...
Oh, mine's over there.
Here, I'll pass it to you.
I'm not grabbing it. Here. Just let me I don't know. Just crash his dumb face. How about that?
Yeah, that
That
works.
Okay.
We'll do half Sonic, half Crash.
Chronic. Okay, maybe not.
Chronic the Bandahog.
Chronic the Bandahog. That's our new character. It's our new fan character. New fan creation. He's an original character named Chronic the Bandahog.
No, never before seen. It's Chronic.
He goes fast and goes, whoa.
Hooray.
You gotta take down the evil Dr. Neo Robotnik.
He goes, Uba Flicky.
Uba Flicky. Uba Flicky. Oh no, now everyone knows my Yahoo password, Uba Flicky.
Oh no, we gotta change it. Don't want them getting your Yahoo account.
Oh no. My AOL account.
Somebody puts in a bulk
Yes.
order for Yahoo chocolate milk.
Oh yeah. Is that milk? Or is it it's chocolate drink, right? They don't advertise it as milk.
Yeah, I've never thought about it.
Yoo-hoos. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just called chocolate drink. I don't think there's any milk in it.
My whole world philosophy is just compromised now. I can't process it.
What isn't
Yoo-hoo!
what isn't compromised is yes, the fact that we do the first season of episodes is based on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. We raided Sonic's Ultimate Collection. We went to his house, got his games, and we're here to talk about them. Um, Last episode, we did Golden Axe 2 versus Streets of Rage 2, and it was a clean sweep. Streets of Rage 2 won.
Yep, no question. Not even any votes, barely. I mean, there were a couple comments. We'll read them later. They don't really. I mean, listen, we appreciate it. Even if your vote doesn't count, it still counts for something.
Yeah, Brian voted, right? and then I fussed at him for it.
He did, and then did he keep the vote? I think he might have deleted it.
Did he delete it? Because I told him we don't vote. We only vote when we need it.
Oh, no, he replied to your Glover vote.
Oh, well, I'm always going to vote for Glover.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Glover will always have one vote from me.
Yeah. Technically, our votes are on the episode, so, But we do have an exciting concept for round 2 of season 1, but we'll reveal that as the date gets closer. We are getting close.
Yeah.
That was our 8th throwdown.
Yeah, we're like somewhere. We're not quite halfway there, but we're almost halfway there.
I do a quick count right now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 more matchups after today's. Yeah,
Wow.
so 40%.
40%, guys, and we've only been doing this all year.
That's true.
So here we are. Today we got a exciting episode, though. I was gonna say this is our first one with a non-Genesis game, but that's a lie. We did Fantasy Zone 1. That's a non-Genesis game. But this is our first episode comprised of completely of non-Genesis titles, because on Sonic's collection, Sonic's Ultimate Collection, if you go into his house, go to his collection. Not only does he have some Genesis titles, but he also included some non-Genesis games, some Master System games, some arcade games, and whatnot. And today we are talking about two arcade games. What are those games, Teddy?
Well, I hope you have a great fantasy, because we're entering the fantasy zone. It's like Turbo Zone.
And I goes to me, yeah.
It is Turbo Zone. That's your fantasy zone. It's the Turbo.
Anything that has anything that's labeled blank zone, it goes to me.
Yeah.
I have to do it.
It's a natural matchup. Versus, in this corner, we have Slacks on, Zaxxon. The pants are on, Spencer. I hope you're ready for this one.
It's Zaxxon.
Do we have any Zax in our community? Zach,
Yeah.
identify yourself.
Is Zach on? Zach, are you on?
Hey, if this game
you
proves
Zach?
one thing, it's that Zach's on.
So this is our shoot 'em up episode, I guess.
Boo!
I don't know. You can kind of consider E-SWAT and Thunderblade shoot 'em up episodes, but this is our first episode comprised completely just arcade shooters.
Old school, classic arcade shooters.
Yeah.
These are the OGs in several regards. And we're very excited to put them in the ring and just have them throw down, see who comes out. We may need you.
Yeah.
Your vote might count.
Who's gonna win, Opa or Spaceship?
Zach.
Zach. Opa versus Zach.
That's the matchup.
Well, are you ready to get into it?
Yeah. Let's just fly right in.
Boom, 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 ba-da, ba-da. That's the Fantasy Zone. Fantasy Zone music. Ba 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 ba. Fantasy Zone. I played I played both, but Fantasy Zone is the one I'm covering today. It is a classic shoot 'em up. It's actually one of the first, not only not shoot 'em ups, but one of the first feud 'em ups. Or is that? And it was released in 1986 by designer Yoji Ishii, I guess. And yeah, it's a very cute arcade style shooter. If I had to relate this to somebody who hadn't played Fantasy Zone, I would say it's similar to a game like Defender, where you have like a full scrolling, like looping screen, and you have to fly around and like fulfill objectives. And the objective in Fantasy Zone is to take out the enemies on each of the parts of the map. And you defeat enemies, you defeat the main enemies and fight a boss. In each stage, you get coins as you go along, and you can use these coins in a shop, which will let you power up Opa Opa in various different ways, getting them new engines, new weapons, new lives even. It's very unique in that fact. And you do play as Opa Opa. What the hell is he? He's cute. He's some sort of a ship with feet and wings, I guess. I don't know what the hell Opa Opa is, but he looks cute, I guess. It's a very simple, classic arcade shooter that I really do appreciate. It can be rather difficult. Don't let the cute, colorful nature of the game deceive you. A few levels in, it can be hard. Make sure you get those upgrades, man, because you're gonna need that extra speed and firepower for some of those enemies and bosses later on in the title. I'm looking here, and this is the arcade version that we played in Sonic's collection in his house. We broke into his house, and but it was ported many different places. The Wikipedia article has like Master System. NES had a version, the MSX or the MSG, the PC Engine for Terry. Game Gear, the Saturn, mobile phone also for Terry, the Switch, the Genesis Mini 2, that's the newest release of this game, is on the Mini 2. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And it's been included in like Yakuza games. It's been ported around everywhere, and it has a bunch of different sequels on console and arcade. And Opa Opa was like sort of a pseudo mascot for Sega. I don't want to say full mascot at that time. I think maybe Alex Kidd or Wonder Boy kind of filled that role a little more, but Opa Opa was put in places where he shouldn't have been. In fact, I was playing an Alex Kidd game on my new Master System the other day. It was Alex Kidd: The Lost Stars, and Opa Opa is like featured in like the screens for that game between rounds and stuff. And I'm like, what? He had nothing to do with the game. I was like, why is Opa Opa here? But I guess Sega wanted to push this character in as some sort of a cute mascot. And I agree. He is cute, and I like seeing him. I do want to say the first time I ever saw Opa Opa was in... Fuck was it? Sonic's...
Ultimate.
Not the Transform, but...
Racing.
Yeah, Sonic's All-Stars Racing. You just unlock Opa Opa, and he's just Opa. Like, he doesn't have a car. He is the car, because he flyers around. And I was just like, what the fuck is that thing? What the hell is an Opa Opa? Turns out he's from Fantasy Zone. Simple game, simple premise, not much to dive into, but Fantasy Zone, I keep wanting to say fucking star. Fantasy Zone is a fun time.
Here's a little did you know, according to HeloCal.com, if you have watched a drama or listened to K-pop, you might have heard this title before. Oppa means older brother and can only be used by younger women. A woman might call her older brother or an older male friend Oppa. So, if you combine Oppa Oppa, it's really freaking old brother by a younger woman.
Really freaking old brother. Damn, why didn't they localize that name?
They would add 2 more P's in there. I like Fantasy Zone. I think if you look at it in terms of, I wouldn't say impact. I don't know its impact on the cute 'em up genre, but I do know that Sega has kept this character alive. They've brought the game back a lot of times. They've brought it back better. I really liked playing this on the 3DS, and then of course there's Sega Ages now. It is really hard. Like, if you die at the wrong point, you basically will have to start the stage over. Because you might die right before the frickin' boss, and you'll have barely any coins left, and then you have to get, like, all your upgrades again. To get the general upgrades, like, it's pretty fair. You can get, like, the twin bombs and, like, a wave shot. But those, the main weapon upgrade is temporary, so that can kind of suck, especially if you're going into the boss later. You have to catch that balloon at the right time, and sometimes the stages have different requirements as far as like speed. There's like 3 speeds you can go, and that can be pretty tricky. Knowing like, you know, 'cause the problem with going too fast in a spaceship shooter is you're gonna fly right into any obstacle, bullet, etc. So I really do think this game is so cool stylistically. I mean, one of my favorite things is just flying around as Oppa and then stopping on the ground. Because, you know, like, if you normally in a spaceship shooter, you hit the ground and you crash. He just plants his feet and he just stays stationary. It's the cutest thing.
Or that or you like, or like you can slowly waddle. You can like across the bottom of the screen. It's like, why would you ever want to do that? I don't know.
You need a break. You need a little rest.
It's cute.
Maybe to look at the map too. I do think the Defender analogy is smart. I mean, it makes sense. And I think personality-wise, the game is really cool. There's like 8 stages, and each one has a boss. Just a footnote, one of the really tricky ones, you got to buy the 16-ton anvil and drop it on the enemy. I remember doing that years ago, and somehow I've never forgotten that. But yeah, Fantasy Zone, Turbo Zone, Fantasy Zone, yeah, is a remarkable and unique shoot 'em up.
Yeah, I could. Which this my statement here holds no validity. I have no clue, but I could easily see this game like inspiring some of like the Parodius games and like those types of games, because some of the things you do fight just feel so fucking random. You know, they pop out of nowhere. Like, I even think of the first boss, the big fucking wooden face that pops up and it's like bleh. You have to like shoot it in the mouth and stuff. It's like, it just feels so random when it pops up. But that's like the charm of the game.
Did you have the year for it?
Yeah, 86.
Oh, 86, okay. I was going to say, maybe it inspired Wispy's Woods in Kirby, but maybe not.
Bleh.
Bleh.
Did Wispy Woods throw up on Opa Opa?
Or did Opa Opa's stage 1 boss, is he the Opa to the Wispy?
So, yeah, that was Fantasy Zone.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Turbo Zone.
Quick and simple.
Alex of Fantasy Zone. All right, time to get to our boy Zach. It's Zaxxon. Zaxxon is a classic arcade shooter. It's an isometric arcade shooter. I was reading that it's like one of the first of its kind. There were no real isometric shooters up to that point. And what that means when I say isometric is that the screen is tilted sort of in a diagonal way, and you're going in that direction. Game was released for the arcades in 1982 by Sega, and you're going through a space fortress. It's a very challenging game to pilot through because basically it is on rails. You can't really slow down or speed up your ship, but you have to manage the height and direction left or right that your ship is going, and that involves going through tunnels, quote unquote, in the walls, or avoiding or lining up a shot with enemy ships. I don't think I'd ever really played this game before until I unlocked it here, and stylistically, I really like this game. It has a vector graphics style. I could imagine this game looking beautiful on the Vectrex. I don't think it has the Vectrex release from what I'm seeing, though. From what I'm seeing, it has arcade, ColecoVision, Commodore 64, MSX, Atari, Apple II, IBM, a couple calculators, and the ZX Spectrum releases. It does have multiplayer, so that's interesting, but the multiplayer is just taking turns. And then your objective is to hit as many targets as possible without being shot down or running out of fuel. And it operates in stages, so like you get to the end of the stage. I think there are end credits. I'm not sure. But I think the hardest part, just from like a standard player's perspective, is evaluating how high is my ship. Because you'll have these very small windows to fly through in the walls. And when you're making that split-second decision about how high up or left or right to raise your ship, you just can't always see it. They're saying here on the Wikipedia page that the ship casts a shadow to indicate its height. I just don't know that that's always the best gauge, especially when you're flying over, just space and you're looking at other spaceships that are lined up trying to attack you. Really cool arcade shooter. One of the first, it's over 40 years old at this point. I can't ignore that. I just don't know if this is the shooter that I would personally go back to the most.
I just wanted to say, because I've talked about it in like a video years ago, but the 2600 version of this game is hot garbage.
Dude, I'm seeing it now.
Oh, it's bad. I have the I have that version, and I think I did like a like buying guide or something for the Atari one time, and I highlighted it, and it's like behind the ship perspective, but like trying to be up and down as well. Like, and it's on the 2600, so they can't do much of that thing anyway, and it's not good. Yeah, Zaxxon. This game was sort of just. And, like, I guess until I got this collection, it was sort of just a game that I knew of by name only and seen, like, videos of. I remember the first time I saw it was probably, like, Classic Game Room doing everything about it, talking about Zaxxon, and that seems like a very classic Game Room game to talk about is Zaxxon, spaceships and, there's two Z's and Z's, two X's in the name and stuff. So it just sounds, cool. But actually playing it for myself, I don't know if you can understand this comparison, but maybe the audience can. It feels very similar to something like Atari, Activision's River Raid, which is also like the same type of game where you had to collect fuel, shoot things down, but it's just on like a 2D plane. And in 1982, I could see this being a really impressive game, especially being able to like have sort of like a 3D space to fly around in, even if it is isometric. Like, I don't know if a lot of shooters at that time looked like this.
That fuel thing was definitely popular for the time. I know the Rare Replay has a couple of those fuel-based shooters. I know they're more like controlling a satellite, that like plops down and then like pops back up. But I guess they were going for realism or something. Back then, maybe it was ignored a little bit. Maybe some people in the audience can enlighten us a little bit about what that was like. But I do think I wasn't even thinking about the fuel in the first stage or two. I saw it there, but it's not like it doesn't get in your face. There's other shooters that have the fuel system that I really don't like. Galaxy Force 2. The 3DS one like fixes it, but like the Genesis version, supposedly it was basically unplayable with how frequently you had to restore fuel. I just haven't experienced that in this game because I don't even get far enough to see the levels where you need that much fuel.
Same. If there's one thing to say about this game, it's fucking hard. It's very hard. And maybe it's just because it is so old school, but man, yeah, I loaded this up to play some last night. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta play some Zaxxon, and I loaded up last night and I played like 10 minutes, and I was like, Jesus, So, like I'm never gonna get any further than this. This game's hard. um, I do have some negative talking points, but I don't want to bring them up now. Maybe we'll save them for the section where we're gonna talk about
Sure.
positive and negatives. So,
Well, that's a good transitioning point. Let's get into the pros and cons. Let's go to
pros
the
and cons.
fantasy zone.
Sorry, the music is so catchy, and that's a pro.
That is a pro. Banger soundtrack.
Beats Zaxxon. Zaxxon
I like
soundtrack.
I like that shop theme
Nothing
too. Versus Zaxxon.
Yeah, pros and fantasy zone. Of course, the soundtrack. The game's visual design is great. I always love seeing the backgrounds at each of the different stages. And any of the fantasy zone games I've played, I like seeing the backgrounds. The enemy designs are also very cute. I think the Kirby comparison's a good comparison because it is very Kirby-ish in a way. It is a fun, fast game to like an arcade game. It is one that I like having on like the 3DS on like that Sega collection on there. It's a good one to like pop open. So it's like, oh, what am I gonna play? I'll play Fantasy Zone for a minute, and then pop open and waste a good 10 minutes playing Fantasy Zone.
And that 3DS one, when you finish the game, you get his younger brother. It's like Oopa Oopa or something.
Now, what does that stand for?
Younger brother. Really freaking young brother.
Really little brother. Really young brother. Super young brother.
Like fresh out the womb. Yeah, one hand has come out. That's my brother. That's Oopa Oopa.
That's my brother. Now I'm just thinking of whatever the hell this species is, just like giving birth, and that's unsettling.
They have to eat.
Do you have any positives for Fantasy Zone?
Oh, absolutely. Much like you, the presentation's beautiful. I think just from a conceptual framework, like I think it feels like an adventure, which is a pro to me. I know it's like an arcade shooter, but like you can take your time in the shops, think about what you need. You can kind of float around the stages and kind of just like, even if you got a couple bases left, and just kind of see what's going on. You can stock up for more coins, try and get a couple upgrades. And there's a lot of experimentation in it, which is cool. I love getting that the max power attack blaster that fires in all directions, and then just like decimating the waves of enemies. They come in waves, which is really interesting, and then it gets really intense. Like there'll be tons of enemies on the screen, and if you don't have the right upgrades, it can be tricky. But when you're really flying through it, like it feels good. And although I probably can't get very far on one credit, I do think future iterations make it a lot more accessible, where you can see the whole game through. I think on 3DS, like it lets you adjust things like difficulty as well. Obviously, I don't know if you can get it now. Maybe the Sega 3D Classics collection physically, but
yeah, physical does have it. Yeah,
but I imagine the Sega Ages one on Switch has similar features. So yeah, I think it's been cherished and made accessible for modern crowds.
It's just a well-realized game. Like it's a well-realized arcade game. I feel like there's a lot of arcade games that are, especially from the 80s, that are like simple, even Zaxxon, where it's like put a quarter in, you lose, and you're done. This feels like it has a little more meat to it for an arcade game. Keep it coming back, and the visual design I think appeals to a broader audience. Sort of like almost like a Namco game, like a Pac-Man or something. It has like the colorful characters and stuff. I think Fantasy Zone kind of fits in there. Just having like a more broad appeal. I could see people that aren't necessarily into shooters or like gaming seeing a very colorful game like this and being like, oh, I want to play that one.
Couple of the cons, it's really hard to beat. Especially
Mhm.
on the PS3 version, you only get the one credit. Like you give yourself 5 lives, but I did not see a way to give yourself more credits than one. And in a spaceship shooter, not having at least 3 credits is crazy. At least for a first playthrough.
Yeah, the difficulty I think can be a con. Um, I don't know though. What else I would consider a con?
Too cute.
Mm, too cute. Thumbs down, too cute. No.
What
I
a
mean, even if I
brilliant
like
vision.
nitpick, yeah, even if I nitpick, like, oh, I wish you could see the more of the screen for the, for the enemies and stuff. It's like, it's not that big a deal. It's not that bad. So, I don't know if I have that many more cons. It is just maybe the difficulty. Maybe I wish there was like a difficulty setting.
I'm not the biggest fan of defender style shooters, like preference wise. Like I prefer like a more like a standard vertical shooter or even horizontal sometimes. This is horizontal, but it's like a never ending loop, and
It's
you're
yeah, it's looping. Yeah.
the point is destroying the bases and then the boss that comes afterwards. Um, whereas sometimes I don't. I just like if that's like supplemental stuff. Like you don't have to do that. Not necessarily a con. It's just not. Um, it's not my preferred style of gameplay. Speaking
Zaxxon,
of
Slaxon?
Zaxxon, Slack's on. Slack's about to come off. We're going in on Zaxxon. Pros.
I think it's very unique for its time. I think just say that. I think it's very unique for
I
its
can
time.
really appreciate a game with vector style graphics.
Yeah, it's just the isometric view, the like pseudo 3D nature, going up and down. I do think it is impressive for what is it, 82?
82.
Yeah, so what else was that at 82? Fucking Pong, no, I was kidding. That was like 70s, but still, it's games from 82. That's before NES. So
Hey, if you want a quick 5 minute burst, a game you can play in 5 minutes or less. Zaxxon.
yeah, I like the name Zaxxon. That sounds awesome.
Okay. It's a pioneer. It's one of the OGs, like the OG shooters. Like, would we have Fantasy Zone if we didn't have Zaxxon? I don't think so.
I don't know. You want to go to cons?
Oh yeah, let's con it up.
I don't like this game.
Sorry, Mark.
I like this game very much. Yeah, it's a neat idea, and I could see this being done well. But man, the perspective kills it. Judging your distance from the ground is impossible to me. Especially like you said, especially the areas where you're in space and you have to shoot down the spaceships. I shot like two of them
Oh
trying to
yeah,
do that.
there's a freaking ship counter. It's like take down 20 ships. I'm like,
I
you
couldn't
want me to
figure
take down 20
out.
ships? You can take down the ones that are on the ground, like that are stationary, but even then, it's such a risk going on that lowest level. Yeah, I don't really feel a good sense of progression. The best I can do is go for that high score in survival. That's it.
Yeah.
And even then, your score doesn't increase just because you're continuing on. Some shooters that are like this do that, but this one you actually have to take down enemies. And in a game where the perspective is so hard for taking down enemies, it's just it doesn't matter like surviving.
Yeah, it's hard because I do want to appreciate this game because like it's a cool game. Like looking at it, it's a cool game. I could see playing this in the arcade at that point and being like, oh, this is neat. But trying to go back to it now is not enjoyable to me.
It's not.
I don't
Listen,
know.
I mean, there are games that are as old as this that and shooters nonetheless that are timeless. Space Invaders, timeless. This is not Space Invaders.
Yeah, I think of Defender. I think of like Galaxian Galaga. I think of like those games, and like yeah, they're fucking timeless classics. But Zaxxon only got like two sequels, I think. And one of them I think wasn't even like I think it got a 3D one on Master System, which fine. I'll use 3D glasses for that. But it also got one on 32X, and that one I know was actually not even made as a Zaxxon game. It was just rebranded as Zaxxon because Sega owned Zaxxon, so they were like, let's call it that. So, um, yeah, this feels like one of those games you get on a collection like this and you play it for a few minutes and then you're like, that was cool, and then you never play it again.
Yeah, or it's
And
like you
it's
forget what it was like, and then you try it up again. Oh, hey, Zaxxon. Time to play something else.
but like I don't want to hate on it. I'm sure there's people that love this game, and I like older Atari games and stuff too, and I can understand like I like dumb games like Crystal Castles that other people probably don't like, but like yeah, I don't know. I just can't get behind this one.
It could
Sorry,
be that
Zaxxon.
like with the arcade joystick, it plays a little better. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe there's a translation issue trying to play with the PS3 D-pad or something. Maybe there's an issue there. I don't know. I mean, that's possible. I mean, there's a lot of games from that era, especially like Atari games that use like trackballs and like that those kind of different dials and stuff. Maybe there is a translation issue. I'd never played a Zaxxon cabinet. I'd be interested in trying one. So
I think it's pretty obvious, but we can say it, make it official.
yeah, Zaxxon win. I'm just kidding.
Zaxxon, big L. You get a big
Zaxxon,
loss.
put your slacks on. Get out of here. We got Fantasy Zone 1. This is a pretty one-sided battle here. There's not much to say about Fantasy Zone. I mean, that's like negative. It's still a really enjoyable game up to the point to where like I feel like if they did like a mobile phone version of this game somehow, it'd still be viable. It'd still be fun. And I can see people still enjoying it.
I did have kind of like a qualm about, even like with Fantasy Star 1 and Fantasy Zone, it's got to be the fantasy games. Like, is it fair to evaluate this game in this competition based on like later releases? And I think it's okay, like later remasters and stuff. Because it seems to be the one that people in the crowd have the best jumping off point for, too. Like, I was reading in the Phantasy Star 1 Throwdown that, people were saying, oh, I really like it on the Switch with the maps. So, I don't know. That's what I think. What do you think?
I think Fantasy Zone, even if there is like the ages versions or sequels and stuff, I think the concept and the original arcade game is so strong. It came out the gate running that like even if they make minor improvements, the gameplay formula from the original arcade game is still baked in there, and it's still the main focus of the games. So, like,
Yeah,
even if there is a better version, it's still the same arcade game
it's
you
the
played
same
back in
game.
the day.
Right. Yeah.
It's like Pac-Man. It's like you can iterate on Pac-Man, but it's still going to be Pac-Man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's quality of life stuff. The game is the same. It's not like a drastic overhaul, so I'm fine with that. Way to go, Fantasy Zone.
Opa, you're moving on, old brother.
Old bro. Yo, old bro.
Very old bro. Very old bro.
That's
Very
my
old
brother.
bro, and it's my big brother, Opa. Opa's my brother. Curious to see how far Opa can make it in this competition.
Will he fly out on top, or will he go home soaring?
If we're ranking the music, Fantasy Zone will win because I got that theme stuck in my head forever now.
If that's the evaluation criteria, it's stuck in my head. Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah. I didn't have to like play it recently. I just know that song because it's just so catchy.
Yeah, couple good ones.
We do have a special episode coming up next. I see special. I just mean a normal one, but I like to say it's special. our next episode, what is it going to be, Teddy?
We have a matchup of the classics. No, the classics. Comic Zone being represented by Mr. Alex of Turbo Zone. I got another
Sketch.
Zone game.
Yeah, zone to the zone. I'm Sketch Turner over here.
Sketch Boy Turner versus I'll be in the stars chilling with Rystar.
Yeah, that'll be a fun matchup. So let us know in the comments who you think should have won this episode. And are you excited to see Comic Zone versus Rystar?
Please, I would love to see why Zaxxon should have won.
Yeah, any Zaxxon defenders out there, please lay into us. We want to know.
Zach, pants on first.
Zach, are you there? Are you on?
Is it Zach?
Zach's on! Zach's online!
What if Zach is your older brother?
Zach, oh no.
Opa,
I need Oopa, right?
Opa Zach Son. What if
I need
he's your
I
son?
need the younger one.
Zach's son.
I need the teeny tiny brother.
What if we've been mispronouncing it this whole time? This game was about Zach finding
Zach's
his son.
Where's my son?
Where's Zach's son?
We did go a little shorter with the games this time. Did you want to comments or no?
Sure. We have 3.
Do you want to give some comments? I don't have the. I'll just let you go through them. I don't have the thing brought up.
I'm not gonna listen for editing's sake. I'm not gonna copy this in. We can just read them. Turbo Zone. It's you. I still vote for Glover. Majority makes sense. I got Kings. Actually, Glover was not on Sega Genesis. It was on a Nintendo game tape for the NES. I think I vote for Streets of Rage 2. Golden Axe 2 is great fun, but I really love Streets of Rage 2. Turbo Zone. There's no votes this time. Majority, let the man vote. Turbo Zone, vote withheld. I got Kings. Oops. Guess I should have watched the whole video. I also thought for sure I commented on the Phantasy Star 1 vs 2 video. I must have just talked to Teddy about it. You did. Yeah, I didn't see a comment. I looked back. Well, thank you, Brian. BioPhoenix here. Streets of Rage 2 is one of my all-time favorites on the Genesis, so I have to vote for that game. But Golden Axe 2 is pretty solid and does improve on the first game. I think the third game is where it got really good. Ooh, that'll be a matchup to look forward to. And lastly, Tie Lord, the Lord of Ties, Stevenson. Great throwdown. I thought it would be more of a mismatch. Yeah.
Really? He thought that'd be a mismatch.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like everybody was leaning towards Streets of Rage 2 for good reason.
Yeah.
It is Streets of Rage 2.
There is hope yet for Golden Axe in the third installment.
Yeah, Bio seems pretty confident that maybe Golden Axe 3 can come on top. And I've played Golden Axe 3 and Streets of Rage 3, and I'm saying he might be right. There could be a chance. Golden Axe 3 could make it.
Well, time will tell. Stay tuned for the next Turbo Throwdown.
Time after time. If you're Opa in the zone, I'll be waiting. We'll find Zach. Time after time.
For Tyler, it's tie after tie.
Tie after tie. Do you think he owns a lot of ties? Is that why he's the tie lord? Maybe it's it's a play on Lord of the Flies. Or he's Lord of the Ties.
I was thinking like he never loses a match. He always ends in a tie.
He's the tie. He's the tie lord. Tie Lord, can you debunk these theories in the comments? Let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to know. What is the truth?
Before we go, Spencer, see you. Just need him to know that before we go.
We know if the pants are on.
Yeah, we know if the slacks are on, man. Slacks on, Zaxxon.
For this episode, they better be.
Keep slacks on, man.
Yeah.
He's like listening to this at the gym right now, so he's like, I'm not even wearing slacks.
I mean, that'd be impressive, but
And slacks at the gym.
Yes.
I only wear khakis at the gym.
To go to Planet Fitness and not be kicked out, yeah. For slacks.
We get kicked out for that?
They have a dress code requirement.
I don't go to like gyms, so.
But I guess people use the shower.
And even if I was going to work out, I would also not want to go to a gym because I don't like being around people. So I would
That
just.
makes sense. I do.
But I would like to work out and some khakis.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I do a private gym now, so I'm just me and my trainer.
Hey, yeah, see, that sounds better. That sounds like something I would do. I don't want to like be around a bunch of other people.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Teddy.
I will see you maybe before the next throwdown. And then again a
Spoilers.
time after that.
Time after time. Time after time.
All right. Well, we can sign off. Maybe let's go out on on a Fantasy Zone remix.
The remix?
I'll get
How the hell are we
the
gonna do
pop
that?
beats, and you do like the main beat.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Wait, who's doing the beat?
Oh, you do. Okay. Well, you do the main theme, and I'll get a beat to go after it.
Da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. There you go.
Fantasy Zone.